Hello, I'm Lauren Markham. Thanks for joining us on AFL Riverina TV as we head into the final round of the Farrer League. Joining me in the studio is North Wagga defender Brayden Skeers and AFL Riverina's Shane Buchanan. Thanks for coming in, guys.
No problem. Thanks for having us.
Now, Brayden, you're at home to CSU this weekend in what is likely your last game of the season. What's the approach from the coaches heading into this weekend?
Yeah, look, we're still just taking it like any other game this year. We're just going in, trying to be really positive. I mean, I know there's not a massive chance of us getting to the finals, but you know we're still playing at the best footy we can. We'll try and take as much out of the game as we can.
Now the Bush Pigs couldn't get the win over Mara that you guys needed to sneak into finals, but it really was much earlier in the year that your finals hopes started to dwindle away. Has it been a bit of a frustrating season for you?
It has a little bit. Like you're right about early in the season, it was those few close games we had where you know we were losing by about 10 points or so, and that has really cost us. Frustrating, yeah, but at the same time we have taken a lot of positives out of our season. I mean, we probably took a little bit of time to gel as a unit, but over the course, I think even in the last 5 weeks, we've really started to build and gel together, which has been really positive.
Now the club stuck solid, reappointing Kirk Hamblin as coach and Daniel Jordan as assistant. Have you guys talked much as a group about what went wrong this year and what you kind of need to change next season?
Not really. I think it's just more about that trying to find that consistency. I mean, across the ground, there's been a lot of good individual efforts throughout the year. You know, we've really tried to build our forward line and our midfield, and try and have a solid base in the back line. So there's not really a key area that we're focused on, but we'll just try and look for an over the board improvement.
Now, there was a lot of talk about your 3 or 4 key signings, but there were some key losses for you guys as well at the start of the year. In particular, Jeremy Luff and Lockie Gaffney and a tall forward in Chris Willis. Do you think those personnel changes were a bit of a factor?
I think so. Definitely, Jeremy Luff, I consider to probably be the biggest loss we had. You know, really quality ruckman, and he's probably proving that playing in the O&M League at the moment. But I still think that the guys we had coming in for those positions have done the job really well. It's probably just like I said before, that kind of gelling together didn't happen as quickly as we would have liked, but I think they've filled those positions quite well.
And although it has been a tough year, there's been some great team performances and individual performances as well. What positives can you take out of the season?
I think just that ability to keep fighting. I think we could have, you know, halfway through the year probably dropped our heads more and not picked up and continued to improve, but we definitely have done that. And I suppose it shows in the last 5 games we've really taken our footy that next level, and you can really feel it around the club. There's that positive vibe, and we'll try and carry that through to next year as well.
Now, Shane, the Saints host CSU this week. It's the Bush Pigs' last chance to get that 3rd win that they've been hoping for all year. What are your thoughts on that one?
Oh, look, both clubs have got plenty to play for, as Brayden's saying. I mean, you know, North Wagga's season's probably over, but I mean, they need to finish off strongly. You know, same with CSU. If they're recruiting players for next year, they need to just show that, you know, there's positive signs going forward with the group they've got. I can't see CSU doing it though. I think North Wagga's got probably too much class for the Bush Pigs, even though the Bush Pigs have had an improved season, but I think the Saints should be too good for them.
Well, look, as Shane said, CSU have had a massive improvement this season, and the fact that they've got one of the league's leading goal kickers in Tom Jeffrey is a massive credit to them. He was dangerous last time that you guys played them. Are you expecting a bit of a tough day out?
Definitely. I think he is one of those key guys that we will try and target. I mean, not in a bad way, but we'll definitely see him as a focal point for the Bush Pigs. So, yeah, we'll definitely try to limit his use up forward, and yeah, we definitely go into the game knowing that they can throw anything at us. You know, they've been really competitive this year, and definitely in the back of our minds going into this week.
Now, in the Farrer League, there's a dangerous forward pretty much every week. Mitch Ward, Mark Geppert. What's the approach to those two, and who else do you think has the potential to do some damage in the finals?
Yeah, generally, like personally, I tend to play on those guys. So generally, it's just to try and stick with them most of the time, because as you say, they are quite dominant individuals in the comp, and you know, you just got to try your best to stick with them. I think even like your pound boys from Colliamberley are probably another group of guys that you really have to keep an eye on in the game. So yeah, you just try and stick with them, and you know, take as many opportunities as you can when you're against guys like that.
Well, let's take a look at the other fixtures, and the match of the round is at Gumley, where East Wagga are at home to Collyambly. Mara welcome Barellan to Langtree Oval, and the other game is at the Rock, where Temora face a very tough finish to the season. Shane, the Hawks will finish top of the ladder unless they're belted by Collyambly. Can you see that happening?
No, I can't see that happening, Lauren. I don't think that'll happen at all. I think it'll be a really competitive game. The Pound boys will come back in this weekend, which will boost the Collyambly considerably. Look, I think both clubs will go in as a final in this particular game, just trying to get the advantage, especially later in the year when they come across each other's path. Well, they hope to come across each other's path. But I'll go for East Wagga to win, but there won't be no belting, and it should be a really competitive game of footy, that one.
Now, Brayden, you guys matched East Wagga for 3 quarters both times that you played them this year. From what you've seen of Collyambly, can they give them a bit of a shake?
Yeah, I think so. As Shane said, it'll be a really tight game. I think the class of East Wagga has been, the cream of the crop this year. But Collie definitely, I mean, when we have played them, they have showed signs of being that top 2 side, which they are at the moment. So, yeah, it could go down to a last quarter sort of battle, I think. So, yeah.
And they are 2 completely different sorts of teams. Collie were a big physical side last year, but you were too quick for them in that semi-final. How much different are they this year, do you think?
Look, yeah, absolutely. I think they're very similar to last year in terms of their physicality. They have picked up, I'd say, in their midfield that I found when we had the road trip to Collie, they actually spread from the middle of the ground really well, and that was probably something that they've improved on and caught us out a few times. So I think they have added that to their repertoire, that midfield running, as well as their physicality, which they've maintained since they've joined the Farah League. So.
Well, Shane, Mara at home to Barellan. The Bombers have had some challenges, but can you see them letting this game slip this close to finals?
No, I can't. I mean, they're going to play finals, and that's a tick for them, I suppose. But there's no use making up the numbers either. So I mean, they need to go out and play Barellan, and really have their structures in place, have a good win, try and win as well as they can. Look, Barellan won't make it easy for them either. By the same token, looking for a new coach and looking to probably recruit extensively over the off season. So that there's pressure on them also to perform. But Mara's got too much to play for, and they'll be too good for the 2 Blues.
Now, Brayden, your last game against Mara was in horrendous conditions, but they do have a few strike weapons. Do you think Brad Turner is the key to their finals hopes? And if you had a choice of them or the Jets, who would you rather come up against?
It's a good question. Honestly, either side would be a real challenge. I know Mara have had a few injuries. Brad Turner, always really classy player. He's one of their focal points. I don't know if he'd be their individual standout to kind of carry them through the finals. They have a good, solid midfield as well. But yeah, either way, I'd think we'd be nervous playing either side going into finals. Yeah.
And now, Shane, it's a long haul for Temora heading to the Rock to see out their season after missing out on finals. Do you think it could get ugly?
Well, I don't know if it's going to get ugly, but I mean, Temora, I think were really good early last week, but then dropped off. So, I mean, they need to keep the intensity up. Christian Macquarie not going to be there next year. So, I mean, the players need to show some sort of fight, I suppose, and send him off, as his last game as coach. So they've got to have a dip, I suppose, is what I'm probably trying to say. So, but I think the Rock's got too much class for the Kangaroos, and I think the Rock will win and probably win well.
And now, Brayden, the Rock will almost certainly win this game, as Shane said. What about the next month? Can they go all the way? And if anyone's going to stop them, how?
Yeah, I think that they are good enough again. Like as you know, the minor premiers, the reigning premiers. So I think they've got what it takes to get right to the end. I think their biggest threat is going to be Collyambly. I know East Wagga's right there at the end, but I think Collie have just got that X factor about them, that physicality that, once you get to finals, it's that different intensity and level of footy. So I think Collie could be a dark horse.
Well, thanks so much for coming in, guys, and enjoy all the action on the weekend.
Thank you.
Thank you.